did you know that real estate was always going to be that thing? Like, how did you get to real estate?
I didn't, but the funny part was I can remember not long after we had gotten married, my first husband, he had look when we I met him, he had bought a house that he had turned into a duplex so that the upstairs people paid his house payment. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, okay. But I wasn't real crazy with how it looked, you know. I wasn't real crazy of the that first house we had. And so I can remember fixing that up. And when we did go to sell that, like everybody loved, I must have had, well, and I think I still do, have an eye for what looks good, you know, in a house. And
Yeah.
so I was driving down a street in town and there was a for sale by owner. And it was in a great section of our town and says $20,000 cash. They had that right on the sign. And I thought, if I can get something for $20,000, I know I can make it look good and make some money off of it. And that started it. We ended up getting that house, redid it. I can remember being outside in the summertime with, you know, trim boards on the sawhorses, staining those, and um, you know, did a lot of the paint and a lot of that kind of stuff. Nothing too big. I do remember putting down some. Remember the little 12-inch square, like stickum tiles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, when we went, we probably stayed in that house for 3 years and made a very good profit when we sold, even though it wasn't a great time to sell. So that's kind of what we did the whole time my kids were growing up. I was finding houses that were a good deal, and we were fixing them up and selling them. So yeah, when it came time for me to kind of find what I wanted to do after my kids were, you know, away at school, I thought, and I didn't have a degree after going for 3.5 years. I thought, man, I don't want to go do college now, you know. And again, there wasn't any certain thing that I wanted to do.
Right,
So and then I thought, I can sell real estate. I've done that. I just wasn't getting a commission check for it. I was just getting paid in a different way. So I
right.
thought, I'm going to check into that. And that's when you had to go actually sit in the classes. Went to Hondros. I forget whether it was 2 or 3 weeks every day, you know. And I think I was one of the few people that sat in those classes and actually enjoyed them. I was just intrigued about learning anything and everything I could about it. And so I thought,
Yeah,
okay. But then, you know, you start and it's totally different. But
yeah,
I had a great mentor when first started. And I mean, obviously, everybody has bad days in real estate. And I wasn't super
oh,
successful right off the bat. I was just doing it part time, pretty much. I was still married. And so I got my license at the end of 2012. So market wasn't
okay,
great. But
yeah,
for the first 5 years, I just kind of did it pretty part time, you know, and I did
yeah,
okay. You know, yeah, I made the $1 million club, whatever. But I didn't get serious about it until after I got divorced.
yeah, and I know we'll touch base on that, as well, just going through that journey, but I'm curious, 2012, I got licensed at the end of 2011, August of 2011.
Uh-huh.
Um, it wasn't the best mark. It wasn't
It wasn't
absolutely
horrible.
terrible,
Yeah.
like '09, 2010, all that,
Yes.
but it wasn't what we see today either. Did you
Correct.
have did you have doubters, supporters when you made that decision to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and sell some houses now?"
I had a mixture of both, I think. I think I was probably one of the biggest doubters. You know, I hadn't done anything for so many years, so there was definitely some trepidation there. But yeah, I think a lot of people thought the same. I was a mom. You know, I wasn't a
Yeah,
businesswoman. I wasn't. But I better than that were the supporters. And when I got my license, I went to a local brokerage in town. And the woman she wasn't the broker, her husband was, but she had been the number one agent in Marion for years. And she was amazing. She took me under
yeah,
her wing and, you know, it was just so patient and kind. I can remember filling out a contract for the first time. And that's something you really don't go over much in school. So
yeah,
um, she went on my first listing appointments with me. It just, to this day. Like, I certainly credit her uh,
Yeah.
for everything, because I think it would have been easy to give up at
A
first.
100%. I'm curious, because not similar situations, but similar situations as I am, as I got lucky and I found my team lead and my mentor from day one of my career, and I
Mm.
had a similar experience as you. Did you know this agent, and did you know that you wanted to go with them and that brokerage, or was it just, this is the kind of the broker of the town, and or the brokerage in the town, and this is who I'm going to go with?
I actually didn't. I knew of her, obviously everybody knew, but I
Sure.
didn't know her at all. I'd in my mind there was another brokerage that had several agents in that one that I knew them. I was going to go there, and one of those agents said, "Don't do it. Don't do it." Like, this is she told me, like, "You want to go to this place?" And then she said, "Actually, I'm going to be moving there myself." So it's funny how God kind of puts his hand in things,
Yeah.
because I would have ended up going to that other brokerage, and then it ended up closing. It had been there for a long time. They did do a good business, but it ended up closing probably 4 years later. Um, and so yeah, it's I was thankful to have that the friend of mine that said, "Don't do it. Go to the other place," and that was definitely a God thing for me.
It's kind of like the college thing. It's so, coming out of school, they don't teach you anything, right?
Correct.
And they don't tell you what to look for in a brokerage either,
Right.
or a situation. And um, I talk to agents all the time, specifically newer agents, because that's kind of how we focus, building our team is,
Hmm.
one, you got to interview everyone. Here's a couple things that you'd probably want to keep an eye out or look for and ask. But, you know, your environment and where you go that first 6 months, 12 months, year and a
Oh yeah.
half truly, in my opinion, matter for not for the small number of people that will go out and just crush it regardless, right? But for the majority of us, like I always say, if I didn't have my mentor from day one, I wouldn't be in this business. I didn't have that personality to go and figure it out on my own. And I didn't have the capital. I was a 22-year-old recent college grad, right?
Right.
So, I got lucky, which is why I'm passionate. This is why I love doing these types of things, interviewing, top performing agents in our market to share their journey, to share, hey, here's the successes, here's the struggles, here's how I thought about building my business, here's, the highs and the lows and everything else that comes with it. So, but that environment matters, you
Oh,
know.
huge. I really don't think that I would have stuck it out, had it not been
Yeah.
for her. And then I really would have been sad, because I'm not, what else was I going to do? I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, and I feel the same as you. As far as I always told myself, if I ever get really good at this, I want to be that person to
Yeah.
someone else, to the new agents coming in. And so that's it's same way. That's kind of how I have built my team. It's almost all new agents. And it's yeah, I always wanted to be somebody that's supporting and encouraging, and because I had that. And I
Yeah.
wasn't the young agent. So, but yeah, I love that I get to now do that for others.
It's for me, it's so rewarding because a lot of individuals come into our career and it's not their first choice. It's their second career choice, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
they're trying to find that thing that they love. And when you can help that person, make that transition, and then you start to see that their life is changing, their family's changing, and
Oh,
they're putting themselves in that better position and they're more happy. It's the best feeling in the world for me. So,
oh,
um,
absolutely.
yeah.